Was your mental health impacted negatively at any point while you were abroad because of anything related to your disability?
Yeah. So there was a time where I was living in London. So for the first year, I lived in London, and for around the end of it, I didn't have a job for like 2 months, and that was really, really difficult because rent in London is not great. It's extremely expensive, and finding a job as an expat, like you have a time limit where if you don't get a full-time job at the beginning, like your chances are reduced as you go closer to your deadline of your visa, because people will see like, oh well, she's only here for like 6 months, so we can't hire this person or whatever. Uh, so for 2 months I had no job, and I was, oh, there it is. and and I was depressed. Basically, I just stayed at home and I like locked my doors, and I just didn't just go away. And I didn't, I just thought like, what's the point, and people were like, well, you should be more grateful of your opportunity because you're able to live abroad. And it's like, that doesn't stop the fact that you can, get depression at whatever time. Wait. So, I didn't realize what it was like until later, and I was like, "Ooh, I think that was depression." But like, yeah, it was a time where I was I was just like at home, and I just had like really awful meals. I didn't eat well. I just like stayed home, and I didn't want to do anything because, yeah, it was like, what's the point? And then I ended up staying in that state for longer than I should have because I was being comfortable there, and I was like making myself comfortable there. I was like, I don't need to go anywhere. I'm here. I have all the stuff that I need. I have enough money to like survive here for the next couple of months. But then I realized like, this is bad, and also I don't think London is the best place to be for me. London is a very, very stressful city. I was there right when they decided to do Brexit, so it was a very cultural, it was culturally a very difficult time to be in London, because people were stressed, people were looking at immigrants or expats, and they were saying like, you shouldn't be here. We don't have anything for you, go back home, no. So I experienced a little bit of that, even as a white woman. Like, you're still an outsider to them. You don't really contribute to the British status quo. And their very conservative government way of being, and so yeah, being there like around Brexit was, I could feel everybody just, because like as an autistic person, I feel like a sponge, like an emotional sponge, so I could feel like everybody's frustration. So I needed to get out of there. So I also, so after a year of being in London, I decided that I needed a break. So I went to the countryside. Um, I made no money for the next year of my visa, but I was way happier just being outdoors and just like exploring the countryside. I did this other program thing called Workaway, which is basically you you go somewhere like a countryside local business, and they will give you room and board in exchange for work. So it's a little controversial because they don't know like what's the kind of paperwork they need from you, or is it borderline modern slavery? Like, it's really it's awkward. So you have to be really, really careful and selective of like where the places that you choose to work and live for this program. So I was very lucky that I have good intuition. So for the most part. And yeah, so most of the time I was in London. Sorry, I was in Scotland and the Highlands for a few months. That didn't work out in the end for various reasons. But after that, I settled in Wales for the last 6 months, I think, of my visa, and it was just great. I needed to like escape and to be like on my own with this really nice family who took me in, and I got to help with their business, their bed and breakfast, and their horses. So that was really like refreshing and just like cleansing. I needed to have that, to have perspective of like, you know, actually London wasn't that great for me. So I'm glad that I gained that perspective by going elsewhere. So the great thing about having a visa is you have that option to like either stay in the city if you want, or you can go the countryside. You can go literally anywhere, depending on the exceptions and the conditions of your visa.